was on fire or something because it was smoky. Now this is kind of actually interesting. This, it looks like it's inside of a tree or a cave or something like that. Those are supposed to be the last, like, books. It's supposed to be like a library. You know how they have the Jedi Temple and the library and all the archives and stuff? Well, that got destroyed. But they said that's like the Journal of the Wills?
Something like that. It's like, for me though, like this image, I still can't clearly see what this image is.
No.
And this was like the one image when I first watched the trailer that really bothered me. Because I want to clearly know what I'm looking at. And I don't.
And it just zooms in, but then it just, you don't. And then that is a callback to the original one of the trailer. Not the trailer, the poster
yeah.
with Luke, and that's apparently supposed to be the Journal of the Will, or, you know, as a teaching of the Jedi.
Oh, alright.
It's so much bigger.
And this scene is pretty cool, because you got Luke up on top of the training Rey with a lightsaber. Don't know if that's her lightsaber or Luke's lightsaber, but if it's her lightsaber, how'd she get a lightsaber? Well, you know, this and that, because she was handing Luke his. But speculation was going around that that's Yoda. That's a statue of Yoda.
I refuse to believe that.
I know, but
that doesn't seem like something that would need to be done or something they would do.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, up until this, like, Yoda was still alive only 30 years ago prior to that.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine there being a statue of Yoda for, like, that long of a time.
Well, and I think that if that's meant to be a statue of Yoda, then the implication is that Luke, who is self-exiled, is building statues of Yoda.
Yeah.
How'd that get
and that's
there?
just...
Yeah, that's... No.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things.
And look, it's kind of amorphous. It looks like it's stacked rocks, not...
It literally looks like it's just a stack of rocks.
Yeah.
You could look at a couple other just regular rock formations and
This
go,
is fucking spectacular.
That seems awesome.
I don't know what any of those speeders are, but it reminds me a lot of the pod races, and it looks fucking spectacular.
You can see, like, pod racing.
And at the time, the pod race was spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And you can see in the distance... Oh, I went too far there. But you can see clearly in the distance there are AT-AT walkers or the gorilla walkers, which are apparently bigger than AT-ATs.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic shot.
That's great.
Finn's obviously back.
Finn's alive, it looks like, for now. Don't know what's going on with that jacket or whatever, but he got his back ripped up. Poe and BB-8. And they said that was, I forget what they said. There was a scene later on, but they said that might be the attack when Phasma leads in. They find where the resistance is, and the troopers go in and attack First Order. There's the Falcon. Who's driving the Falcon?
It's probably Rey or Chewie.
But where are they coming from, or is Rey done with her training?
I mean, that's like this is a hard thing with this being the teaser trailer, because like we know the characters now, but we still don't know where any of these images fall into the story.
Yeah.
It's all speculation.
Yeah.
Like, we can guess all we want, but there's no telling.
there's very little substance to this. It's just a lot of great shots.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I have not against parts.
Yeah,
of
and that was the same
but
thing with the Force Awakens trailer when it first came out.
Yeah.
Like, back then, like, we knew nothing about the characters. We just got all these great images.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the 2-minute trailer. And it's the same thing with this. Except for now we know who Rey is, we know who Finn is, we know Poe, we know these characters.
And here's another thing, too, with this shot here. Rey's running with the lightsaber, and then the next shot they show Kylo Ren. We don't know if that's the same place.
No, those are two completely
That
different
looks-
scenes.
very similar to footage from The Force Awakens, too.
No, but-
Yeah, it looks a lot
I mean,
like...
almost identical.
He and his scar, too.
That's the only thing that gives away that he has that scar
Did
now.
you hear about it, though?
About how they moved the scar?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be in his nose, and it was the placement they said just looked awkward.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's pretty cool with his lightsaber and the shot with that. And now we don't know if this is going to be a callback, if this is a flashback, or if it's real. Because if you remember in Rey's Force vision, or not, when she got the lightsaber, and this is where obviously Luke and R2 and him putting his hand. Don't know if it's a callback or if it was a future.
It's safe to say this is... Well, no, R2 went with Rey and Chewie, right?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
I can't remember, but either it's possible.
Even how did R2 get there? If he didn't go.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if he was with them, then this is possible for this not to be a flashback.
Yeah.
But if he didn't get with him, like there's a good chance. Plus, this looks like the whole entire scene in Rey's vision.
And yeah, and
so this is probably a flashback.
When Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, that might be where the training was for Luke, and then he just goes apeshit. And then this is a completely different shot. They said might be where the Resistance, where Poe's ship blew up, and Phasma and them are coming up. That had nothing to do with the time war. Obviously, you got some space fighting, which is awesome. Which is awesome.
For the Jedi to end.
What was that? We don't know what
Dude, that really got me fucked up from like the first time I watched it. I don't know what that means.
But I'm just gonna let it run out and we'll talk about that little. We have the Star Wars logo.
Functional Jedi is plural and singular.
Yeah.
Although
so damningly functional.
Rian Johnson did come out and say that Luke is the last Jedi.
All right, then if that's already been disclosed, then I think that takes away a lot of the weight of the Jedi must end.
Yeah.
I think then the implication is the Jedi must end just means it's not as if there will stop being Force users and the Force will cease to be if the Jedi end. It just means the doctrine must end.
Yeah.
The warrior monk ethos must end in the same way that...
Well, there's even a calling, too, I was reading. They said something about that Luke might be a gray Jedi. Meaning he has both light and dark. Not even a Jedi, but like he wants to put an end to the Jedi along with the Sith. Meaning that there's going to be some sort of balance.
Which there always needs to be a balance, and that's the one great thing about the Clone Wars series I talked about earlier. There is an entire episode, like a 3-episode arc, where they talk about the balance of the Force, and they show it by using characters. There was the light character, the dark character, and then there was their father, who was the balance between the both. And like, if ever a time to just watch a couple episodes of Clone Wars, it's those ones, because they really like give you a full grasp of what the Force is.
They elaborate on.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because being only familiar with the films, I've always just operated, and I think this is true for a lot of Star Wars fans that only have this as a touchstone, is that I always just operated under the assumption that balance in the Force meant that there were light,
Good
and there were dark,
Light.
and that was what gave it balance.
Yeah,
That
the yin and the yang. Like,
yes, exactly. That they were two sides of the same coin, yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the idea of a gray Jedi, I think that's awesome. And
And that's
and like I
And
said,
it-
that was the same thing with like Return of the Jedi, when Luke used his anger to defeat Vader. Like there is obviously a balance between like the good and the evil and the dark and the light, and if those two can be used together, then you have a normally functioning person.
I think that's
using the Force.
That's a callback to something I saw and I mentioned a lot in the prequels, was that 1 minute these Jedi are put on a pedestal as, you know, warrior monks and
Protectors.
yes, the most admirable you could be because of their detachment and their benevolence. And then in the next scene, there's almost this sense that you can't, that the movie's trying to tell you, you can't be detached from the world and still be a force for good.
Yeah.
In the way you want to be. And it's too idealized. And that would really kind of bring that all together.
Yeah, and like, that's the big thing between like the Jedi and the Sith. Like the Sith is all about using your emotions to your advantage, and the Jedi are completely about suppressing your emotions.
Yep.
There's an interesting thing I read, so I wish I could take credit for this because I think it's a trenchant insight, is the idea of saying the Sith only deal in absolutes.
Yeah.
It's a fucking absolute, you're saying. And Jedi?
Yep.
It is not, all right, don't allow your emotions to cloud your judgment and your benevolence, your being a force for good. Instead, it's don't have any emotions, don't have any attachments. It's absolutes, it's just a different side of the same absolute.
Yeah.
Exactly. A couple questions I have about episode 8, and then I think we're going to wrap it up here. we might get this answer. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get this answer. But who is Rey's parents?
All right, I'm gonna go on the record right now and say I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I am so over everyone thinking that a character from Star
absolutely
Wars,
not. No.
their parentage needs to matter.
No.
If Rey ends up being related to someone that we've already met before, I'm gonna be pissed.
But the only thing is, with Star Wars, it is a family story. So
But it doesn't have to be.
it doesn't have to be. But the thing
Wait,
is,
that's
That's why I'm with you. I don't.
I
It's
don't
not even
care.
that I don't give a fuck. It's that I want it to not be of consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's like, alright, like, the whole Luke, Leia being Vader's kids, I get it. Like, it makes sense for that story arc. This story arc, where we're introduced to a character 30 years later who should have literally no attachments to any character from any of those previous timelines. Why the fuck are they there? Like, why does it matter? Like, I don't want her to be a kid.
Yeah.
A fucking someone we met before. It's
No.
Especially because then
unnecessary.
it's rehashing the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It
that
is.
was one of the big complaints I heard from
Force Awakens.
from every county on
Yeah.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
This
doesn't need to
is-
happen.
I don't care either. It's just a question that's it's gonna be addressed. But
And
I
Star
don't-
Wars
I-
is
I-
about
I
family,
want to
so
give them, and I
It's
I
about the
want,
Skywalker lineage. I don't even can say it.
She can't be a fucking Skywalker. I mean, she literally can't be, though.
I mean, but you have obviously Solo, Ben being also a Skywalker too, though. With
yeah, but
his grandfather Skywalker, but
like, if saying, alright, Ben is obviously a Skywalker, that's because Leia and Han had
Yeah.
him. So unless Luke, before he went on his complete exile, said, you know what, I'm gonna go fuck this slut on Tatooine real quick. And
Cantina.
yeah, so I'm gonna go pick up a cantina slut, and there's Rey, not Skywalker. Unless Leia and Han had a daughter, and they're like, you know what? Our parents split up me and Luke when we were younger. Let's split these two up too.
Here, Luke, take her.
Yeah, it's like, no, that's fucking stupid. Like, it just doesn't. Her parents need to be just fucking two random people who were maybe good people, who were maybe bad people, but I don't want it to fucking be anyone I know.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be a big deal.
Don't know if this is going to be addressed in this movie or not. It might be addressed in the 9th one. Maz Kanata, and how did she get Luke's lightsaber? That's what I'm kind of curious. I mean, because in the Force Awakens she says that it's a story for another time, but like I want to hear that fucking story right then and there.
It's like, that's not necessarily something I need to know.
I'd like to know it.
I would like to know it, but if it doesn't, like, I'm sure we'll eventually find that out in some form.
it was said with too much gravity to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not exactly hopeful that Rey's parentage isn't going to be a huge part of the story, because it's you're nudged about it so much that either it is a huge misdirect, and I want to give them the credit for that, or it's exactly what we hope it's not going to be.
Yeah. And that's how almost
And
everything is.
I'm almost sure that's how it's going. She's going to be a fucking Kenobi.
Which, as interesting enough, that's another thing brought up in the Clone War series, is that, like, he doesn't have a relationship with someone, Obi-Wan, but there's clearly a woman that he had a pass with.
Yeah.
So, like, it's
To be fair, if Ewan McGregor was just single and out in the universe, he's gonna fuck something. Have you seen that man?
Word,
I
I
am
agree.
a
So-
heterosexual man, and
You're not
I'd
wrong.
fuck him.
I'm with you 100%. Yes, I'm
All right,
on record.
I got my little blurb about how much I love Ewan McGregor.
No, I'm with
On
you 100%.
record.
I'm with you 100%.
Probably, I think one of the last things I have too, and this is the one thing I'm most interested about out of everything, is who the fuck is Snoke, and quit with the theories and all that bullshit. Tell us who he is. Is he Pegasus? Is he Galilus Rex or whatever?
I've heard that name
some
before.
canon or
I
whatever.
don't know that.
That's not. I don't
Is he
think that's
Mace
canon.
Windu? Is he Jordan? It's just all of these fucking theories. I just want to find out who the fuck he is so just put it to rest. But he is the most intriguing character, I think, because who is he? What kind of power does he have? Obviously, he's not. We don't know if he's a Sith or not.
We don't even know if he can use the Force to be realistic. Like, we literally know nothing about this dude.
Yeah. So what did he do to Ben Solo to make him turn down the dark side and turn on Luke and his training? And another thing is too, with the First Order, what are they trying to achieve? What is the essential endpoint for them?
Well, I mean that one.
Space Nazis.
Yeah, I think that one's a pretty.
I mean, that one,
I know,
really,
but are they after something, or are they like?
Nah, they just want to control the galaxy.
yeah, it's,
and they
it's ultimate power.
And as long as the rebellion's like still fucking with them, like they have a purpose to fight someone.
Empire Squared.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what
and
that comes down
and
to.
again, it boils back to it reverts all back to the big criticism on The Force Awakens, which I had no problem with, but
Yeah.
it is all a rehashing.
No.
And that's why I hope they do really depart from
Some of the things that
Empire
come before,
and-
Yeah. Still have the darkness about it though, because obviously.
Oh,
I mean, you can tell from that it's going to be dark.
Yeah.
But, do you guys have anything else to comment on that? Because I have. We went through everything.
And one thing about Snoke that I was thinking while you were talking there is, if we look at the precedent though for taking a Jedi and turning him to the dark side, it does not take a lot. It takes a fucking vision and some well-placed words.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
Yeah.
he is running off and killing younglings.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was just bad storytelling in the first three, or if it is you're meant to believe that within this universe, the grasp on the light side of the Force is so tenuous that that's what it takes. So if there's the seed of doubt there and someone whispers the right words to you, you are then burning down a temple or killing younglings or whatever.
He was also training with Luke though, but with Luke, with how powerful of a Jedi he was, you think that he would sense something that was wrong with Ben?
But that goes back to the point you made before. I think it was you made before. You also had the Master Sith going in front of the Jedi Council. And everyone's like, "Oh, we know it. Fuck the Sith. They're not even real anymore."
Yeah, but I don't know.
But again, is that just clunky storytelling,
I just
or is
hope-
that what we're meant to believe
From what it
about
looks like,
this universe?
what it looks like, it's gonna be a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
There's no.
And-
I can pick anything apart, no matter how much I love it, and I love this stuff.
I'm absolutely excited for it. What, December 15th is coming out?
It's December something. It's 15th,
But-
17th.
But definitely have a full review when we get to see that. Dobie, I know you're gonna see it probably.
Yeah, I'm seeing it opening night. I'll probably see it 10 times in that first
We're
3
gonna be
days.
seeing it, so.
Yeah.
No problem.
For sure. First minute we can.
Yeah.
That's it.
But other than that, I mean, I think this wraps it up for Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that's a good wrap on Star Wars Day and our special Star Wars episode.
And may the 4th be with you.
Also with you.
Couple things that we're going to hit on too is follow us on Twitter. We're at @thepop_pod. We're also on Facebook at the Pop Pod. We have an email, thepoppod@gmail.com.
Yep, any questions or anything you want us to talk about in the podcast?
TJ has
email us.
a GoFundMe page. We were talking about that at the
Yeah,
beginning of
it's on my personal Facebook page, TJ Dovey. It's on the Pop Podcast Facebook page. You can find it on our Twitter page as well. Go there, like I said, donate, share, do what you can. Let's try and help a good cause.
Always donating is for an excellent cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, we want to thank you to All Seasons Productions. What was it, Blue Point?
Blue Plate?
Blue Plate,
Blue
yeah.
Plate.
I'm sorry, I already forgot about it. Thanks you to Blue Plate. And then
Point 45.
Point 45 Productions. Jeff, Robert, and Shane, thank you guys for coming out filming this.
Yeah,
we
filming
really
our very
appreciate
first video podcast,
Very
which
first-
will eventually be up on YouTube at some point.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Also with you.
And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, bye-bye.